Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Talking Tradesman. In the studio today, I have a returning guest from the early days, about 18 months ago, none other than Mr. Quality Brushstrokes, Gary Quinn.
Thank you very much. A pleasure again to be here for part two.
Mate, really grateful, as always, for you giving up your time and coming and travelling down again to be here in the much upgraded studio.
Much upgraded, yeah.
So now we can give you full sort of like,
The experience.
just make you look good on camera.
Yeah, the TT experience.
For reference to anyone listening, last time I sat down with Gary, I'm pretty sure I was recording on a webcam. I'm sure it was like a 4K webcam that I'd
We're
got.
going to talk about that.
Oh yeah, forgot about that other business. But yeah, things have vastly come on. Gary's had a hell of an 18 months, and we're going to have a catch up over the last 18 months. We're going to retouch on some of the subject that we went over before. So I've said this before to many people that I spoke to. 93 or 94 episodes published now with The Talking Tradesman, and to this date, his episode was probably one of the most impactful and, to put it bluntly, shocking ones that I've recorded. So if you haven't already listened to Gary's episode, go back. I might somehow work out how to put it on the episode description. But it was about the 6th or 7th episode that I published. Go and check it out. Go and listen to it. We're going to have a recap. I'll pass you over to Gary to do that. Like a quick recap on what Gary has been through so you can tell what we're talking about. We're not going to go all the way in like we did first time because we've walked that path. But just to let you guys know that might not have seen Gary before, introduce yourself, mate.
Yep, so thank you, Russ. A pleasure to be here. Gary from Quality Brushstrokes, as Russ has just introduced. The first time I was on the podcast, I think I was a shadow of the person that's in front of you now on camera. Certainly grown a lot as a person, individual, as a businessman, business owner. Certainly come out the other side finally get to a point where I'm comfortable with myself and in my own skin. And for those of you that have seen the first podcast, you will understand why part two is beneficial to part one. And if you haven't seen part one, then it might not make sense, but go and watch it and it'll fall into place.
Well, let's recap that, mate. Sort of tell the listeners, I guess broadly, there were three main talking points, I think, out of your first episode, the three main traumas that you experienced. So are you okay to recap those?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, from the age of being 12 to 15, 16, it probably started before, but from what I can remember, like from 12 to 15, 16, I was sexually abused by my stepfather, violently sexually abused by my stepfather. Then at the age of 17, my mum was murdered by her partner at the time, which was not my stepdad, he was somebody different. She was murdered. I was then, not instantly after, hours after, when obviously it had come to light what had actually happened. I was arrested, questioned under suspicion of murder. Obviously it wasn't me, but it was following protocol, so I was arrested for murder. And then fast forward a few years, obviously there was some other traumatic experiences leading up to things after, but the next major thing I would say is a few years after I found out I had a daughter. I found out when she was 4. That she wasn't actually mine. She was my best friend's at the time. So the topics that Russ was just talking about then. So it was the sexual abuse, the murder of my mum, and then the obviously incorrect paternity of what I thought was my daughter, which wasn't my daughter. So there was the three major traumatic things at that point. So,
mate, it's still surreal, to sit here and listen to you reel that off in that. I know you've got to do it that way. You can't sit there but just to hear you say that again, it's still just as shocking as the first time I heard it. So again, man, I'm just so sorry you experienced all that.
And that, to be fair, when I've just said it, then it kind of took me back a bit because I've not said it as the new version of me or whatever. So maybe this podcast might be a little bit more, I don't know, internally beneficial than I thought. So yeah, it was certainly a traumatic time, and to hear other people say it or to see other people's visual responses to what I say is still baffles me, because it's just me and my life. It's strange how I don't look at it like that. I'll still make joke of things and I'll still say things, and but yeah, I think that's just an eternal coping mechanism, I think.
I guess you've lived it and had to get used to it. Thankfully, to most people listening, it's so far from what their reality would be. That's why everyone's so shocked. It's like, you can't, like me, myself, I can't imagine having gone through what you did.
Yeah.
And that's why you get the reactions that you do, because it's like, just wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, and to highlight the fact that having gone through that level of trauma, to now be the man that you are and be such a positive person is fucking remarkable, mate. So there's so many people, and I'm sure there were times where you did go off the rails.
Oh yeah,
but there's so many that would have let that trauma define who they are.
Yeah, and I know people that have been through less, and that's exactly what's happened. And I know people personally that have made certain situations determine the rest of their lives. And one of the main reasons I said in the live in regards to my training to become a psychotherapist was because I'd always had this inner ability to help other people regardless to how I was feeling or whatever. If I can make somebody's day a little bit better, then I'm all right. I'll always be all right, if that makes sense. Sometimes I haven't been all right, granted, and I'm comfortable enough now to say that I did go off the rails for a while, and I did lose myself, and I did associate with the wrong people, and just lost my shit for a while. I was always stayed grounded to a certain degree. I wasn't an absolute tool, but yeah, I'm confident and grown enough now to say that I am finally Gary. And it took a long time to get to Gary. I was always, do you know what I mean, Gaz or G or whatever. I'm now comfortable in Gary. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, a long time coming, and I've crossed many bridges and walked many roads and shed many tears to get here, but it's certainly been worth the slog. So,
yeah, do you know what, man? Even from just the point, I mean, I guess we'll go to that. Like, how was it for you coming on the last podcast and then walking away, knowing much the same as me, right? So, like I said to you before, I didn't know you very well, but I knew of you on socials before you stepped up. I remember you reaching out to me because it always seems so ironic afterwards because you reached out and you're like, yeah, I've got a hell of a story to tell. And listen, for me and Gaz have become friends, so I'm going to talk a bit more informally now. Yeah. But this fucker,
yeah,
he told me prior to recording that he had trained as a psychotherapist, and I thought that in itself was a fascinating story for somebody, because I was going kind of down a similar path at the time. I think I was still studying at that point.
I think so.
So it was fascinating. I was like, okay, interesting story. Let's get you in and find out why and like what, you know, sort of like what you've learned from doing that. And then on the day, he sits there and hits me with these 3 sledgehammers, one after the other. And yeah, I've heard some grueling stories. You know, sat down with a lot of people now. And everybody's...
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but even like when you just said, and many people do say, like listening to mine, and they say it's like, it's so hard hitting, it's one of the hardest I've listened to, it's one of the worst, and stuff like that. And obviously I'm not taking a lot away from anybody. Everybody's got their own individual stories, their own individual growth stories of how bad life's been for them, and etc, etc. It's still crazy for me, knowing what I know about the guests that have been on and watching the episodes that I have took the time to watch. I listen to some of them and see some of them people and think, fucking hell, you're amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, everybody who's been on the podcast, amazing stories, each and every one of them. And to be associated under that umbrella of the Talking Tradesman, or to being in a position to share my shit and also take their shit and listen to their shit, it's worth its weight in gold, because subliminally I know through me being me, or me passing my story on, will have helped people. They've told me it's helped people, and that's the reason for it. So yeah, just being a part of it and listening to other stories is it's intense.
I think, I guess the greatest lesson Let's pause there to thank this episode's sponsors, Monarch. Monarch have sent me a couple of their new products to talk about. First of all is the 9-inch roller bucket. So this roller bucket fits a 9-inch roller. It's a little bit special because the lid on this bucket also turns into a roller tray. So it has two functions. First of all, you've got a feature wall to do. That roller tray is perfect for that. Second of all, if you want to pop out for lunch, you can pop your roller and your brush in the bucket, pop the lid on, and you know that it's going to stay wet and it's perfectly safe. So there's no danger of paint contamination. Second of all, in front of me here, I have the Monarch rat tail brush. These brushes have a long raw timber handle. They have a fully synthetic filament that are designed to hold less paint. This makes them perfect for cutting in your intricate areas and also for finishing things like woodwork and trim. Now, go and check these products out. They're absolutely fantastic. A huge thank you to Monarch for supporting the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping me on my mission to raise mental health awareness in construction. Let's get back to the episode. That can be brought on to other people from your story, really, is to anyone listening to this now, if you're going through bad times, hardships and traumas, if this man here can go through what he went through and still come out the other side and be in a good place now, you know, I'm fortunate enough to know a little bit about Gary's sort of like personal life, I guess, and the things that he does and all that kind of thing, and living, I guess, you know, obviously you work too hard, mate, like a lot of us, but you've got your high points, you know, there's parts of your life that I look at and I'm envious.
Yeah.
So to have gone through things that you've gone through, to then be here now, this version, this Gary that sat here today, hopefully that is what anyone that listening to this can take away and go, well, fuck me, if he went through that. And it's not to belittle anybody else's traumas and problems, but as an inspiration, if somebody can go through that and then still come out the other side and be okay to a point where you can potentially be happy and live a happy life.
Well, it might be a bit presumptuous, yeah. I'm still mental. But obviously, having said that, for somebody that's not seen the first episode and that will be taking the time out to watch this episode, and not seen the first, I would like to be in that position. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to see somebody as I am now, to see somebody as I was 18 months ago, 2 years, for them to watch this one or to watch the first one, then to watch this one and think back. Because I know there's a difference, whether I'm sat more comfortably, whether I don't feel as anxious in the situations or whatever. I'd like to see what that growth looks like. You don't see it in yourself, do you?
Yeah, I can see it, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
I can see it. Just, you can see how much more comfortable you are today. I guess that's been, it's been 18 months of, well, I mean, I've been the same, mate, the growth I've gone through. When you sat down with me in that first studio, mate, I was still nervous as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I remember for probably the first 10 episodes, I'd flush red. I'd just have major imposter syndrome. And I could get 30, 40 minutes into a podcast and then it would hit me. And in my head, I'm looking at you and I'm talking to you, but in here, it's going,
what do I say next?
What the fuck are you doing sat here?
Yeah,
Who are you to... And again, I look at your story and some of the other stories that I've had the honour to host, and I think, who the fuck are you to host this? You know?
No, I mean, you should never discredit yourself. You're
it's a growth process, I guess.
Yeah, and that's life. It's what we do in it. You never completely 100% happy with what you've done, regardless to what it is. You always think you could have done something better, even if you can't. You always think you can, and that's the same in life. You always think, should I have done that? Should I have done that a little bit differently? Should I have approached that a little bit differently? Should I have reacted a little bit differently? Should I have said this or painted that wall like that? Or you'll always... I don't think I will. I don't think I'll ever do something in life that I'll be 100% defined or definitive answer to say, that's the best I could do. You could always give more. Do you know what I mean? So...
It's the nature of who we are. And I think as painters, I think we've probably got a little bit more of that in us than others.
Yeah. You see some paint jobs from some people. If you're going in somebody's house you never worked in before, or you're working somewhere and you're not the first painter they've had, and you see things and you think, how have you just walked away from that? Like, what have you... I mean, I'm not the best decorator in the world, granted. Do you know what I mean? There's some amazing, amazing people out there that I'm fortunate to be a part of and affiliated with and associated with separate, different brands and stuff. But
people love a shout out, mate.
Love a shout out.
Give me three.
Can I just drop free like that?
I'm just trying to cause you more drama,
Yeah,
mate.
just throw me under the bus a little bit more. Well, obviously, I've got to go for the goat, and I've got to go for Wes. Wesley Knight. His work is phenomenal. Other people I've got a lot of time for. JB, I think his work is incredible. He's certainly got a touch of the OCD like myself. He's working in some phenomenal properties, which I'm fortunate enough to do so as well at times.
I thought he just sits in cinema rooms watching golf.
To be fair, I have noticed that. I have noted that down. I'll talk about that in his next progress meeting. And obviously the man himself, Mr. Byron, he's the living legend at spraying.
Three great lads, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm hoping to get a black card Wingstop as well.
The list does go on, to be fair. I mean, it's...
yeah, you can't...
I'm sorry to do that to you, mate,
to throw me under the bus, like, you don't just throw me under the bus, you throw me under an 18 fucking wheeler.
I am sorry to do that, because I'd have hated that question myself.
What do I say? But, no, like I said, everybody within socials or who's on my platform or watches my stories or whatever, if we talk, we talk. If we don't, it's nothing against you as a person. It's just the algorithms and stuff like that. But there's some amazing people out there, some amazing work that they do, and a lot of it goes unnoticed and a lot of it goes unseen and unrecognised. But yeah.
Well, going back, the question I was trying to ask and then got sidetracked. I'd love to go off on a side mission. After doing that first episode, how was it for you to come out into the world, I guess, and all of a sudden, much the same as I had that experience on the day, you've now got unlimited amounts of numbers that then know everything and know all that story?
That's never really bothered me at all. For me, the hardest thing for me is because of the way I talk and the way I act and the way I explain things. Sometimes it can run away with itself and I can get a bit, not necessarily giddy, but I can just start, do you know what I mean? And throwing people under the bus and saying stuff. So the most difficult thing with me is still trying to respect other people's. Do you know what I mean? So like they've got their version and I've got the truth. So whether that be family, whether that be somebody in a pub, whether that be somebody in a bar in town, whether that be somebody on social media, I couldn't give a shit who knows my story. Do you know what I mean? If they know it and respect it, then I'm all for it. If you know it, if you know the backstory, if you know where the story come from and you know what traumas people have experienced or whatever, and I don't just mean me in general, obviously at this minute, but to know the story and then to try and use it against you.
Oh, there's nothing worse than that, mate.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's because nobody knows what people experience in life or what they think or what they go through on a daily basis. Me personally, I'm petrified sometimes, scared to death of just life because I've never said this, but so when things are going well, it petrifies me to the point where something's going to happen here. Something's going to knock me back because why is my life going well now? Why am I getting this goodness? Why? Because I've never consistently had it. It's always been one thing after another. And like taking a joke out of it, it's tip of the iceberg. The first episode, tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. Some things I can't say, some things I want to say, some things I daren't say. But what was I saying to?
The fear of things going wrong when they're going well.
The initial, if things are going well, it petrifies me, it scares me because I think, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to get this, or I don't deserve to be in this position, because I don't see myself as others see me. I think my heart's different to people's. I think I care too much about things and about people and situations. So then when people see me or think they see me, they don't actually see me. It's only just now I'm starting to see myself. So yeah, the reality scares me sometimes because I think, why is it going too good, or why is life looking up now? What's going to happen?
Do you think you deserve those good things?
No, because I'm not used to it. Never had it. So I've had good things in life. Obviously, I've worked, but nobody's ever given me anything either. What I've got, I've fucking worked hard for.
You do deserve them, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
You do deserve them. Listen, everybody does. Everybody deserves to be happy. You do deserve all the good things that happen to you. And like, I know you, I know a lot of us out there, we work fucking hard for it as well. Like, you don't stop. I see that. You know, if I was to critique anything, I'd say you work too much.
Yeah.
Because you're always weekends and late nights and all the rest of it. But at the same time, I do see you do the nice things, like you're about to go on holiday with Keita and all that kind of stuff, which, you know, I guess that's the balance. But it's sad to hear that, man. It's that's just a really sad thing to hear. That, like, you should definitely know that why do you think you don't deserve the good things?
I don't know. I think it's just deep rooted because, like I said, my life has never really been. What's the word I can use? My life's never really been consistently, or never been consistent enough, steady or acceptable or tolerable to the point where it's been good for a while. Or there's always something that's come up, whether it might be sound 2 years, bang, something happens, or it might be sound for 3 years, bang, something happens, or so. I think because the trauma that I've suffered is that deep rooted and that traumatic that later on in life at 41, I'm starting to take stock of actually how traumatic it was and see things, and I'm waiting for that next big bang of that. So for a long time, I thought to myself, or I used to see things like, it said that saying that God loves a trier, and I used to say, well, he must want to fucking fuck me. Do you know what I mean? Because it was just constant. Have that. You've dealt with that. Here, have another. You've dealt with that. Here, have another. Have another. Have another. Do you know what I mean? And I just kept bouncing back. But it's now the little things that seem to knock me back or make me think, what? The trivial shit that is not even relevant. That's what affects me now.
Do you know what, guys? It's a weird thing. I mean, there's probably some psychological theory in this, but it's like a setback feels the same, whether it's big or small. And you've had such big traumatic things go on in your early years that I would imagine maybe your response to the small things is equal to those of the big things.
Yeah.
So maybe the small things feel so big because you've had those big ingrained traumas. So now when things do go wrong, it all feels the same.
Yeah, there's no top, middle or bottom. It's just, it's a loss of something. I'm grieving something. I'm grieving, because grieving isn't just about death, it's the loss of something. So regardless to what the loss of it is, it's still as traumatic. It's still, you're grieving something. It could be a job, it could be a fish, it could be a dog, it could be a mum, it could be a dad, whatever. So yeah, it's like I'm constantly waiting for that next fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Wow.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
That come from nowhere, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's fucking raw.
Yeah,
it's you just took us deep real quick.
Reel you back up.
But no, mate, it's impartially, it's an interesting thing to hear as well. That your thought process takes you to that stage. So is it? I guess you always feel like something's around the corner. Yeah,
and it's like saying your gut instinct. Your gut instinct's there for a reason. Your baby brain's there for a reason. Everything. It's not just a feeling. It's a feeling coming from something else or somewhere in your body. And 9 times out of 10, if you trust your gut instinct, you're going to be proved right. 9 times out of 10, you might come up smelling the roses. To 1% you don't. You're going to come up like you've stood in dog shit. But you've just got to trust yourself sometimes, and trust in the situation, and trust what life throws at you. It's just, for me, it's always been shit, and then you get the good. But now the good's really good. But then it's that you're under that umbrella. What's going to take that away? What's going to, do you know what I mean? So
I'd like to think that isn't going to be the case, mate. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because it's that whole social media thing, but I've seen this parachute version of your life over the last 18 months. I know a few of the lows, you know a few of mine, but generally speaking, it looks like things have been building and getting better and opportunities and things like that. But it's interesting to then hear that side of it from you.
Yeah, it's the journey within my social media in the last
You're on a podcast, guys. You can't do
Oh,
that.
yeah, sorry. I was quenching my thirst. Sorry, guys. But yeah, certainly my journey on social media in the last 18 months has certainly gone to places that I never expected or never feel like I deserve. Working with brands that I work with and
Do you work with brands?
A couple.
Is there any brands that you work with?
Well, to name a few.
Hold on, it's going to be a long podcast.
To name a few. But a couple of them
Listen,
on the
do you know what? Let's fucking get this out of the way now. Let's give them a shout out now. All of you will be watching and all of you will be waiting to see whether Gary gives you a shout out. So let's just do it. Come on.
Right, okay.
The floor's yours.
Yeah, there's a couple on the table now, as you can see. There's a Monarch, obviously, Australian brush company, all part of the same company. Monarch, an amazing company, excellent ethos. Q1, massive family of Q1 in Monarch and in Q1. Paint Station, who else is there? WRX Paint. Is there anybody else?
Pressure's on. Who are you forgetting?
I don't know. WRX, Q1, Monarch, Paint Station. I think that's it. I think I've only got 4. So there's room for some more. But just to be part of all of them brands, regardless to, like I said in the live, the free shit and stuff like that. If I want something, I'll buy it. If I can't afford it, I'm not having it. It's as simple as that. I don't want to be affiliated with brands for free stuff. I want to be affiliated with brands because I believe in them and I trust the people behind the brand. It's not just the brand. It's the background of the reps, the homework that goes into the products, and just the general ethos of it. So to work alongside the people that I do work alongside with is something I'll never understand why. Because to me, I'm just me. I'm just Gary. I'm just paint and decorator, quality brush strokes or whatever. And like I said, to work with alongside Brandon, Wes, do you know what I mean? It's crazy because their work is fucking mental. Do you know what I mean? And I'm part of that. But I don't see my work like that, and I'm not sure anybody does, to be fair. But
Mate, I think you're respected for your work. Let's pause there a moment to thank this episode's sponsors, Q1. Q1 are a premium masking solution. They offer the ultimate choice for professionals that demand perfection. Whatever you're painting, Q1 tapes deliver clean, sharp lines every time. Q1 tapes are designed for superior adhesion and easy removal, leaving no residue behind. We use Q1 tapes in our business all the time, on every job. In addition to the painter's tapes, Q1 offer a range of surface protection technology, solutions and accessories. You can cover things like worktops, hard floor and kitchen units with a range of Q1 protections. Using Q1, your projects are going to look professional and the results will speak for themselves. Q1 is available at all of your favourite stores and online at q1tapes.com. Thank you to Q1 for supporting the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping us raise mental health awareness in the industry. Let's get back to the episode. 100%. So, it's, I don't think anyone really... It's weird, isn't it? Because I read a quote once and it was like, you're a million different people to a million different people. So everybody you meet in life sees you as a very different version of you to the next person. Yeah. And then your own version of yourself is different to the version that everyone else sees.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
Like me in my life, you know, my wife will look at me one way and see a person, my son, my daughter, and I'm a different person to everybody that knows me. You'll see me as a different person. And then you've got your own opinion of you, and that's what I mean. There's like a million different versions of you. You'll never know how people see you because you're never this side of the table. And I would imagine, I'm guessing here, mate, but if I sit here now and tell you all the great things about you and how much respect I've got for you and what you've done and how you deserve the positions that you're in, I would imagine that you'll be sat there thinking, nah, fuck off.
It'd just be, I wouldn't know what to say and I wouldn't know what to, do you know what I mean? Because I don't see myself like that. Do you know what I mean? I do pick flaws of myself. I do pick like faults of myself and stuff. But like I said, just as a person, I try to be as honest, as genuine, and just what people see is what they get. I don't want people to see this podcast and think he's not like that in real life, because if I'm not, then I deserve a fucking Oscar, because I can't be that person. I can't be too many. I can't be anybody else but myself now, because it took me long enough to find myself, I'm not jeopardising that for anybody or anything. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to lose touch of myself, which is another thing going back to the brands I work with. Recently, obviously, there was a lot of drama surrounding ambassadorships and stuff like that, but to be associated with the brands I'm associated with and have the support from them guys to say, we've not brought you on board because X, Y, and Z. We've brought you because you're you. What you are as a person is enough. What you do as your content is in theory up to you. We've brought you on board because of you, which is again is still strange to hear because I'd never see myself as being good enough for any of the good things, whatever it comes. Do you know what I mean? Whether it is a freaking cup or a hard out watch or a T-shirt or, do you know what I mean, a shout out from certain brands and stuff like that. I just think like, why me or whatever. And like everybody else, it's not. It's when I first started social media, it was, I don't want to be a content creator. I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be me. I want people to see me or my work or see what I do with what I use or what I'm doing and think, all right, that looks good. Do you know what I mean? And if I do end up influencing people to choose a brush or choose a tape or choose a dust sheet or choose a fucking watch or whatever, then that's fine. It's part of the circle, I suppose. But I just want to be seen for me and not.
You are though, mate, and please understand that like your opinion and what you put out holds value as well. Obviously, myself, I work with brands, and I've got good relationships with many of the same brands as yourself.
Work with the same couple of brands.
Because same, there's a couple. There's a couple. Yeah. I mean, massive shout out Q1. Big shout out to you guys sponsoring the dartboard and indeed sponsoring this episode. Yes. Also, a big shout out to Monica, who are also sponsoring this episode. But like, it's great, but like, and I feel the same, mate. It's great to, I guess there's an element of recognition. It's nice because I think when you work for yourself, particularly self-employed, like you can do an amazing job in somebody's house and nobody really, the customer, oh yeah, it's nice, thanks guys. And that's it. So to then get the recognition from brands that then want to align themselves with you and your work, it's nice because it's like,
which again
sees it.
Is crazy because when all's said and done, they're seeing a picture. Do you know what I mean? The brands are seeing a picture. The brands aren't stood over your shoulder watching you thinking, you could have rubbed that down a little bit more, or you could have just made that a little bit straight. You're seeing a fucking picture at the end of the day. And that's why I'm quite fortunate enough to have a little bit of OCD that things won't allow me to do. Like I say, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But it's to see a picture and then to want to be associated or think that's enough is good. But then also when you said your customer will just say, oh, that, yeah, it looks all right there. I've got a couple of customers, well, I've got fucking loads of customers, but I've got a couple of customers that actually take on board what I say and run with the ideas I have, which is awesome because sometimes, like, you'll throw an idea out there and they'll be like, yeah, why not? And then they do it and you see the aftermath and you think, wow. Do you know what I mean? I've brought that idea up, or I did one the other day, the nursery, and I've done all the panelling. But at first she wanted the like picture frame panelling and stuff, and I was like, you don't want that. It's that for me. That's not. It needs to be timeless. If you're doing something in your own house, it needs to be timeless. And I think that's just a phase that it's not going to stand well. I don't think. I think it's going to age fast. So I said the traditional panelling, whatever, in nursery, and she loved it. And then I've got another customer. She loves the Emma Shipley wallpaper. She wanted something like bright and bold or just something different for the downstairs toilet. And I just said, colour drenched a lot and then just paper like all the walls. So you see them, your door, your frame and everything else were all colour drenched and then the wallpaper. And you can have some customers that will go, no, I just want it white. And then you'll paint a room white that's white already and they'll go, I love it, love it. And you can't tell the difference, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's nice to have customers that trust you.
It is, mate. It's... Yeah, we all need reinforcement. We all need recognition, really. As confident as you might be, if nobody compliments you on your hard work for a certain period of time, you will question yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's why I think the brands coming in is nice. Also to highlight, though, you know, let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of value to what we do to the brand. Like
for sure.
As lovely as my relationship is with brands, they work with you for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not just charity. Social media marketing now is such a giant in the industry.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, okay, I think of the way I would buy something. If I see an advert for a product, it's like, oh, okay, there's an advert for a product. That looks interesting. Not sure about that. I'll wait till I hear about it. And that's it. They jump into that stage. They jump into the, well, actually, you know, you could name any of those decorators that you've already mentioned. If they get a new product in and they show you that they've used it and then they give you the high points, low points, whatever, I would be influenced by that, because I'd be like, well, hold on, there's somebody there that I respect their opinion and they've shown this new product and its benefits. I will go and try that out now because they have said it, rather than it just being put in front of me. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of... that's why they're all doing it, man. There's a lot of value to it. And it must be... Look, I mean, you're talking multi-million-pound corporations. They've done the research. They know the benefit to it. So what I'm trying to get at with that is, please value yourself. And that's... The brands are giving to you and it's a beautiful thing, but you're also giving to them. Like, there's purpose to what they're doing with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're getting something back, and rightly so. You know, I'm not saying it's a toxic relationship between them and us. It isn't. It's a collaboration, essentially, is what it is, isn't it? It's a known collaboration. Like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
And that's the thing. Like, for the tools and the companies that I work for and use and stuff on a daily basis, I'll never specifically go out there and say, this is the best brush in the world, this is the best tape in the world, this is the best paint in the world. But I'll be honest and say, for me, or this is I found, or whatever. I'll try and be as honest and as truthful as I can. Like, there's part of any manufacturer's range that's not going to be suited for everybody.
Yeah, of course.
You can't... There's not one decorator out there, or not one joiner, or not one tradesman that just everything they've got or everything they use is one brand only.
I'll be honest, mate. There's one exception where I can say everything I've used has been brilliant, which is Festool. Like, they don't seem to make anything bad.
See, I've never used them.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, mate, that...
I'm not rich, am I?
Looking for sponsors. But no, and this isn't a paid thing, but like, with all the sanding equipment that I've bought from everything that I've had from them.
But to be fair, that said, it wants to be, doesn't it, because of the price of it?
Yeah,
it
absolutely,
wants to be
$1,000,000%. Yeah, if you're paying high, you want it to work.
And we got, like, for me, it's... They've all got the USP, they've all got the unique selling point, they've all got their individualities. And to sell your soul, or to become part of a cult where it's just that, and that, you're lining yourself up for a firing line.
Do you know what, mate?
That's what I believe.
I'm going to stir some feathers here, and I'm going to put on record a conversation that I had with you earlier. My opinion. In reality, because I'm going to touch on the subject, the ambassador programs that are currently quite a big thing within the industry. The tribalism around it, to me, I don't think benefits the industry as a whole. Because the reality is, like, let's pick the most obvious thing on the table, literally. Here, paintbrushes. So most of us decorators will use a combination of different brushes for different jobs. And to portray that you only use one brand through the fact that that brand is the absolute best in the world, it's just simply not true. Like you touched on before, every brand will have a certain product that will be the best in that category. But there's a lot of categories. Talk about paintbrushes, but, you know, you'll have, like, best brush for woodwork, best brush for emulsion, you'll have sash brushes, you'll have detail brushes, you'll have... And plus preference, like, everybody I know...
brushes.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone's got a different preference.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've got a few on the table there, different handles. And what I like, you might not like.
Yeah.
You know, like, it took me a while to get used to these pencil handles, but I like them now.
Yeah.
But again, when they first got, I was like, nah, not for me. But this kind of thing that's going on in the industry at the moment, where it's like people have to pick a side.
A cult. It's like a cult.
But it's like, and I've said this openly, just because I align myself with one product or brand does not mean instantly I then hate all others. Like, I think there are several brands within our industry that make some incredible products, and I will use all of them. That's a reality. In my business, I'm going to use whatever works. And I don't like the way that things are going in terms of having to pick And I understand it. It's weird because I understand both sides of the coin. So I understand from a commercial perspective, a brand is not going to want to support you to have you support their main competitor, which makes perfect sense. But the reality of it is actually, can you imagine in this, light unicorn world that I want to live in, where everyone loves each other, if they all just got on and were like, no, use theirs. Their product is actually really good, but also use ours, and everyone were friends. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't like the tribalism. I don't like the separation that I'm seeing, and I think as an industry, in our industry, it's kind of sad to see, because I think there'll be people listening now that will know exactly what we're talking about and will be experiencing it. But 6 months ago, a year ago, there was this whole the paint fam thing, right? And there seemed to be a real
what up, paint fam?
There seemed to be a real community building though. Yeah. And of recent months, there seems to be divides forming and tribalism and separation
surrounding one area.
Yeah. So there's separation, I think, and the people involved seem to be like picking a side.
I think
and I'm seeing firsthand. I'm seeing friends
that are not friends
falling out over.
And I think
brands.
that's where the cult thing comes from. It's like you've just said. Yeah, I represent a certain brush, Monarch. I represent a certain tape, Q1. I represent a certain paint, WRX. That doesn't mean that I can't go to Dulux and buy a tub of white matte.
Mate, if you need the paint, you'll pick it up, won't you?
Yeah, it's as simple as that. In regards to tape, I can wholeheartedly say I will never use another tape because I don't own another tape. Do you know what I mean? In regards to my paintbrushes, I no longer own the other brand I was affiliated with. I've got rid of them all. I'll only use them. But will I use an Hamilton green sleeve roller? Probably. Will I use an Hamilton dust brush? Probably, because that's what I've got in my box.
In reality, mate, we're all in business. If we got to the stage where we're on a job, we need a product, your closest trade centre is a particular trade centre that only stock a certain range, you're going to go and pick the best of what they have.
Yeah.
And it might not be the brand that you're aligned with commercially. But that's the reality of it, and
that's why I'm excited to be a part of the Monarch journey right now, because the trajectory of it is crazy. Do you know what I mean? The product is speaking for itself. It's gonna be massive. It's only one way for it to go. It's the biggest paintbrush company in Australia, and Australia is far bigger than England.
Although the middle's empty, isn't it?
It's upside down.
I've never been to Australia, by the way. But as far as I'm aware, it's the centre part of Australia is pretty much not a lot there.
You'll find a brush there.
just a random brush on a cactus.
A random brush. But I'm excited to be part of it because it's a journey, and do you know what I mean? Everybody, like one of my friends on social media, he's never tried a Monarch brush. I went and bought him some Monarch brushes, sent him to him. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's not about the free shit. It's not about contacting one of the reps and saying, "Oh, send us some brushes for him and or X, Y, and Z or for her or whatever." I've gone out of my way, spent my money on a product that I think he's going to enjoy, that I think he's going to like. He can still use his brushes, whatever brushes he chooses to use, whether that be Axis, Arrowworthy, or Hamilton, Jewel, whatever brush he wants to use, Worcester. You can go on and on and on. There's that many, but I find this certain brush is the best for me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's what I said at the very beginning. The products I use work for me. They might not work for everybody else. Do you know what I mean? One person might absolutely love Ultra Tape. One person might love 3M. That's all right for you, but for me, this is what I like.
But listen, I think that's all the attitude that it should be, mate. I think that should be full stop.
And I don't think, like you said, it's the friends falling out side of things and people, like the playground side of things, which is it's a very mean and nasty place. But what people choose to do for themselves is for themselves. They're not intentionally going out to hurt people, because there's people that are affiliated with certain brands that I will be friends with for the rest of my life, and there'll be certain people that work with certain brands that will no longer want to be affiliated or be associated with me or talk to me because of said issues. But that's their prerogative. That's not mine. I've been through as an individual, and I speak probably for many other people that have been in the situation that I was in previously in regards to brands and stuff. Like, I do what's best for me. I've been through too much in my life to want to be affiliated or associated with something or someone or an issue or an area or whatever, if it doesn't sit right with me because my morals and my views are what are my internal organisms. It's what
You're
I'm
doing
made
what's
of.
right for you, and that's...
Yeah, and that's it. And I'm not, like I said,
yeah.
I don't wake up, I certainly don't. I don't wake up every morning and think, right, well, I'm going to hurt you today.
Mm.
Or I'm going to do this today, or I do what's best for me. And I try to, like I say, if I can make one person a day a little bit more happier than they were when they first woke up, then I'm good with that. Do you know what I mean? I think to intentionally hurt somebody is not nice, especially in this day and age with mental health the way it is, and nobody knowing the actual ins and outs of people's lives and stuff like that. I think to go out there and intentionally hold something against them, which has nothing necessarily to do with you, or do with them, or do with the company, or do with, I don't know. I just think it's a very, very scary thing to do, because you don't know how that can end up.
It's the, unfortunately, mate, I mean, I studied evolutionary psychology, and we're tribal creatures, and there are certain ingrained things in humans, in people, and we do it naturally. I mean, we pick tribalism all the time, whether it's cars or football teams or Festall and Merca, like, come on, Festall and Merca, Green, and it's mad because we pick all these tribes.
Well, I'm a Merca boy. I've got a Merca, so I'm a Merca boy. I've never tried a Festall.
Move this chair this way. But it's funny how we just do it naturally.
Yeah.
Like the tribalism.
And you do, and that's life. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, I can't even say a brand, because if I do say it's like a certain brand I've never used, I can't necessarily say a bad thing about it because I've never used them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's that many. For argument's sake, let's say a Spear and Jackson from, on bargains, $6.99 for 10 brushes.
Mm.
Have you ever used them? They're actually really good.
I thought they made hedge cutters, mate.
They make all sorts, Spear and Jackson, another Sheffield company. But
I didn't know there were any.
Yeah. They do shit, and even Wes.
This guy brought an imposter into the studio today.
Henderson's Relish is the finest.
Right, listen, hold on.
So, like, the Spear and Jackson, it's $6.99 for 10 brushes, right? If you've ever used them, you actually think $6.99, the brush is all right. If people like Wes Knight can use that brush and get the results that he gets, it speaks for itself. You know what I mean?
Wait, don't, you're speaking for it. Yeah, hold on, are you an ambassador for these as well?
That's what I need to be.
Fuck's sake.
So, yeah, it's not everything is good for somebody. Some people hate DeWalt. Some people love Makita. Some people love an S-Ring-Gamma. Some people love a fucking...
But what I mean is, isn't it funny? Like, perfect example, I know it's all banter, but I'm going to hold this up to all the cameras because I don't know which one we're on at the minute.
Somebody take a picture of that.
There we go. Right, so if we're on Gary, if we're on both of us, we can see it, and if we're on me, then there you go. So Gaz walks into the studio with this imitation Worcester sauce.
I mean...
Earlier. Which was the first thing. I was like, oh, you've bought me Worcester sauce? He went, no, I have not. He said, no, I have not. We're the originals.
Shove your Liam
And automatically, how fucking mad is this? And me analysing myself. I felt protective of Worcester sauce. But
Worcester sauce is just an imitation of.
I don't believe that's true. But
I'm telling you,
they put. It looks very similar.
Yeah, because your guys have copied our guys. This is the original. I can't remember what date it come out.
We're going to have to fact check this.
You're going to have to fact check it. Anybody else?
Whether Liam Perrin's Worcester sauce or this imposter brand were the first.
Henderson's Relish, I'm telling you now.
Henderson's
I think
Relish.
1912 or something. It might have been before 1902. I don't know.
I've never heard anyone say, "Can I have some Henderson's Relish?"
Because it's only available in Sheffield. Because it's that unique.
Worcester sauce, ain't it? So you can get Worcester sauce all around the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does that tell you?
Just tells you it's the original. There's a reason this stuff don't make it out of Sheffield.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I digress. What I was trying to say was, it's funny, like, even in that silly little interaction.
Available at all stores.
But it's not though, Gaz, you just said that.
In Sheffield.
It's funny how we do. We're ingrained.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes if you can notice that, like if you notice yourself doing it, it's not a critique, it's not a criticism or saying that you're doing anything naturally, like essentially wrong. We're naturally built to be tribal because back in the hunter-gatherer days, played into our survival. We've got that thing where we're built to form those bonds. We're built to form tribes because that was how you survived. The stronger the tribe, they got the food, they won the fights, you know what I mean? So it was a survival mechanism. Society's moved well past that now, but we still have those built-in predispositions to be tribal. And that's why you have things like football violence. And it's mad, isn't it? You go to like most football grounds in the country of a weekend, there'll be people fighting over their football team. You think the team even know who they are?
No.
They don't know who they are. They don't give a fuck. They're not paying them any money. They're not putting anything in their pocket. Yet they're fighting for them. They're prepared to do violence.
Yeah,
you know. But this is what I mean. That's like an extreme. But it happens in all walks of life, and unfortunately, coming back to it, I'm seeing it within our industry. It's getting a bit tribal, and me for one, I don't really like the way that it's going. So I'd prefer if everyone was just friends.
Yeah, let's all have a cup of tea.
Exactly. But I mean, you know, let's talk about. I don't want to ruffle the feathers too much, but we talk about mental health. The podcast revolves around mental health. It's bad for your mental health. Like there will be, you'll have gone through a period, no doubt, of anxiety over the situation that you've experienced currently, as will other people involved in the situation. So it's just bad for everyone all round.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine that anybody has come out of it feeling better than when they went into it. You with me?
Well, I certainly haven't, or hadn't, if that makes sense. I think I'm not grateful for the situation by any means, but again, I'm fortunate enough now to be a stronger person, to be strong enough as a person and as an individual, and to see what I believe in and stand by what I believe in. So with that being said, like I said before, I don't necessarily... It doesn't matter to me what people think of me. As long as I know that I'm portraying the best version of myself, which is true to me, then if they don't like me, that's fine. That's their problem. It's not my problem. I can't make their problem or their feelings towards me become my problem because I've been through shit. I don't need to... I'm not carrying the shit that they think about me, myself. That's their issue with me or something I've said or I've done. Do you know what I mean? So, but if that being said, if I say something or if I do something that doesn't quite sit right, then I'll own it. Speak to me about it. Say, okay, oh guys, I think you've said a bit thingy here or whatever. Then like I said, I'll own it. If I've said wrong, I'll hold my hands up. We've all made mistakes in life, granted, but I choose my path wisely now, and I stand by what I believe in. And I think that's all I want to say on it, because I think since the initial issue, the support I received and I think just the support was more than what I thought it ever could have been or ever would have been. But then on the flip side of that, did I lose some people's respect or did I lose followers? Yeah, but does that matter? Clearly not, because if they...
Probably not, mate. In the grand scheme of life, I keep seeing... There's a quote, it keeps fucking coming up, mate. I keep seeing it on social media all the time. It's probably algorithms, because I clicked on it too long or something. But the quote basically, and I'm not going to butcher it, in fact, I am going to butcher it. Essentially, the quote is, in 100 years, everyone will be dead. What's it matter?
Yeah.
And that is the truth of the matter, is that these small things, in the grand scheme of life and death, are irrelevant.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Does people's opinions on me pay my mortgage? No, it doesn't. There's people that think I've done wrong put food on my table. No, it doesn't. Me being me does that. Me being me. And like I said, I'm strong enough as a person now to not just bury my head in the sand and just pretend things are okay, because if something's not okay, then it's not okay. And I should, as a 41-year-old man, I should be entitled.
You keep saying 41-year-old man. You're trying to convince me that you're 41.
I'm trying to convince myself, I think. Fucking hell.
When did you turn 41?
March.
You know, okay. So I'm 41 in August. We're actually pretty close together.
Yeah. So yeah, I think as an adult, I don't look like an adult, granted, but I am an adult. I'm entitled to my own views and morals and opinions and stuff like that. And like I said, if I stand by them, then I'm doing what's right for me.
That's all you can do, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, that's all you can do. And to anyone listening to this, do right by yourself, stand by your own values, morals, and opinions, and to a large extent, like, fuck everyone else. It really
and that's
don't
the
matter.
thing. Yeah. Without
and that
saying
goes,
that or whatever.
That's when I say that. When I say fuck everyone else, it's not like everyone else is wrong. Like, everybody is right in their own world. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody involved in any kind of fallout will think that they are right on their side of the coin. There's that saying, isn't there? In any situation, there's 3 versions of the truth. There's that side, and what really happened. Do you know what I mean? There's like, everybody sees a situation differently.
Or their side and the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is true.
So, I think we've covered it, mate. Listen, let's not lie. I know you fuckers were all tuning in to see. I know you were all tuning in to get the lowdown.
That's it.
But
back to reality.
Let's get back onto it then, man. The last 18 months.
Doesn't deserve any more airtime.
In fact, no. Let's not do the last 18 months. You said there was some stuff that we discussed in your first podcast that you would want to expand upon or potentially give more context to. What were those things?
So, obviously, people that know me personally will know that I don't have a relationship with my family. The only people I do have a relationship with my family is probably like one hand. 2 of my sisters, one my dad's daughter, one my mum's daughter. Obviously different dads, different dad, different mum kind of thing. But 2 of my sisters out of the 4 sisters I've got, I don't necessarily speak to her, but I've not got an issue with her. It's like one of my aunties, the other aunt is I no longer speak to. So in a nutshell, I don't speak to 95% of my family. And that was a decision that I made probably a little under 5, maybe 4 years ago. I chose to distance myself because of certain issues and stuff that had arose or that had happened. The biggest one, I would think, is, like I said at the beginning, I was violently sexually abused by my stepfather, my 2 younger sisters. That's their father. So obviously they was babies at the time. When my mum died, obviously babies at the time, even younger babies, when their father did what he did to me. So they never really knew. Lois, bless her, she'll never really know my mum because she was only a baby. She'll never really know my mum. My other sister, she'll remember my mum vaguely, but that's by the by. So my thoughts are just going all over. So because they was only younger, they was only babies, the relationship they had with their real father, who was the child abuser, they'd never had a relationship with him or didn't have a relationship since being a certain age. And then my sister's got to a certain age, or one of my sisters got to a certain age where she'd got her own questions. She wanted questions answering, which is fine, and I totally accept and appreciate and respect her wanting to do so. Prior to this, I'd got questions and stuff I needed to ask myself. So well before this, years before this, probably not long after, probably not long after my mum died, actually, I'd got questions and stuff that I wanted answering from this dirty bastard. So I reached out to him and just wanted to know why, because I was at a certain age, I wasn't allowed to go to court. So knowing he'd got away with it and knowing that he'd said to a judge that he'd fell in love with a 14-year-old boy and blah, 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 this is all what I'd read in court papers, and I'd done my interviews and stuff. So
just to, again, sorry, mate, so I don't mean to interject,
No.
but to recap, so the stepfather that abused you was never convicted, didn't do any any time.
No, he didn't do any. So he'd gone to court, blamed it on his mum dying, blamed it on his mental health, said he'd fell in love with a 14-year-old boy. By all accounts, my mum had said that the judge turned round to him and said, I don't know who you think you are, but if you think you can stand in my courtroom and try and justify falling in love with a 14-year-old boy, you're very much mistaken. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think he ended up with, like, 18 months probation, and he had to move cities and on a sex offenders register for, I don't know if it was the rest of his life or for a certain amount of years.
Okay, so he was convicted but not jailed.
Yeah, he was convicted, he didn't go to jail. So, so that was that. So then, like I said, after my mum died, and obviously my head was a bit smashed to bits, to be fair, to say the least. I'd got questions and I wanted to know why and stuff. And obviously, while my mum was alive, that was never an issue because my forefront was then to protect my mum. And obviously, that we can go back to that. But so I'd reached out to him, so I wanted to know why. Looking at it now and speaking to people now is because I still believed I was still playing the victim, if that's the right thing. I still thought I owed him something because I saw it that because of me telling people or me coming out and saying what had happened, I took away his kid from him and I took away...
So you felt a guilt.
Yeah. So I wanted answers from him. Why did this happen and why did this happen? Blah blah blah. So then, as daft as it sounds, we did not triumph for, but we did build like a friendship thing. But because obviously I'd got rose tinted glasses on, and because I was being groomed again, but obviously not seeing it, not aware of it, but not groomed into the fact of any more sexual things happening, because then I was old enough and wise enough and I'd got a bit more character about me, and I'd have just probably fucking put him under my front wheels. But I was still being groomed because he could see that I was feeling guilty for the way things had happened. Or so obviously when we'd speak, he'd be asking how the girls were and stuff like that, and at this point I'd have my sisters as regularly as I can, because ultimately I was still grieving. And I'd initially I wanted my sisters, I wanted them all. I mean, they're not leaving me, blah blah blah, but it obviously it can't happen. Do you know what I mean? I was a 17-year-old boy, I can't have 3 girls on my own. So yeah, I'd had them as often as I can. Some people say I could have had them more, but again, I was grieving the loss of my mum as well. My forefront wasn't babysitting, and that's not taking away the relationship between my sisters, but like my family or certain parts of my family now will hold it against me because I didn't have them, or I didn't take them to certain places on certain days and whatever. But at that time, I'd seen things differently. Whatever they wanted, they could have had. They had. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they wanted for Christmas, whatever they had for birthdays, they have whatever they wanted.
But again, mate, listen, you were the brother, not the father.
Yes, and this is what it took me along, and this is what my Mrs. Nikita would always say. Like, it was her that kind of brought it to my attention that you were fucking grieving, Gary. You're not there, Dad. You're a brother. Do you know what I mean? So that was that. So that's one of the reasons why the relationship kind of fizzled out between me and said family members. So yeah, he was every time I spoke to him, he'd ask how they are while they're blah blah blah. So then he'd somehow, obviously I can say it now and be aware of it now, because at the time I couldn't. He'd somehow spun this web for me to be in a certain place with the girls so he could see them without them seeing him. So it was some, I'm sure it was like McDonald's that used to be on top of the moor in Sheffield, and I'd said, right, okay, I'll be here at this time, so you can sit at that side of the restaurant, see the girls. So I'm sat there, but obviously all in between all this, I'm still feeling guilty, like shit.
Mate, but like again, what about you? Like, yeah, it sounds like this guy is a master fucking manipulator, man, and extremely dangerous.
Yeah. But at the time, obviously, I couldn't see it because I was suffering the loss of my mum. Then, obviously, I wanted to be there for my sisters. Plus, life was new to me. I was 17 years old. Do you know what I mean? And one day I'd got my mum, the next she was murdered. And do you know what I mean?
And in reality, man, this is only like a couple of years after the abuse. So
ultimately,
it's not like it's gone decades.
Yeah. Well, in regards from one to the other, I think you're probably talking 8 months max from him being abused and arrested for it, for then my mum to be murdered.
Fucking hell, man, I didn't realise the time scale
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that
So
tight.
it's like that ended. That, do you know what I mean, or whatever. So
I guess when you told me last time, I'd sort of got in my mind that obviously you were a child with the abuse, and then I remember you saying about finding out about your mother and driving home. So I'd kind of separated the two from like child to driving. So it must be at least 17. So I'd
so 16, and I passed my test when I was 17. So I was 17 on the March, and my mum
Right.
died in the November. So I'd passed my test within the first. Well,
fucking hell.
so yeah. So obviously we was in said restaurant and whatever, but he'd promised me he wouldn't come over. He'd just see them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're his babies. They're his. Do you know what I mean? He wouldn't come over, or that's what he said he would. So obviously, so we was in the restaurant, and it was a big. To me at that particular time, he was a big guy, got a big stature, he'd got whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've probably not even grown, but now looking back, and I think, I'll fucking drive over you. Do you know what I mean? So he promised he wouldn't come over, and he come over. So then I was left with the feeling then, shit, I'm gonna have to tell who's looking after my sisters, which was my mum's sister. I'm gonna have to tell him this now, and tell him that it is just a freak accident, a freak fucking coincidence. But then I couldn't. I told him, obviously, my original was, sorry, it's happened, whatever, it was an accident, I've walked in, he's sat there, blah, 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 blah. But then the police come because of what he is. And then obviously I had to tell him, look, no, it was premeditated, if that's the word. So yeah, that was that. And then obviously I didn't speak to him or whatever I haven't spoke to him again, to be honest. So then fast forward, I don't know what this would be. I don't know, I said...
Do you know, like, I mean, where my mind went to, mate, like, do you know anything about the guy? Not that it's your responsibility, but, like, what... Because to me, somebody that does that is a fucking predator, and they're going to do it again. Like, have you ever heard anything that he's gone on to do more?
I heard something, not necessarily in regards to doing it again with children. See, I could just have to stop myself there.
Yeah, you don't have to say it, mate.
But
you don't have to say it.
I found out after, or only, wouldn't necessarily say recent, but I don't know, let's say within the last 6 years, 7 years, I'd found out that somebody had told me that he was actually gay. It'd come out as being gay.
Right.
And that he'd been in a bar somewhere in Sheffield and got this fucking living daylights kicked out of him for apparently trying it on with the wrong person. So, which obviously is dreadful.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. So,
heart goes out.
But then, after that, I then found out that because he got beat that bad, he lost all taste sensations in his mouth, all taste buds and everything. So then he got paid out compensation. So when that happened to me, I think I'd got like $3,000 compensation. What happened to me for victim support? No counselling, no nothing, just $3,000 here, jog on. But to then know that he'd got a life-changing amount of money because he'd got beat up for being a homosexual and trying it on with the wrong person. And that's justice for you. But, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it, I suppose? But,
well, no, mate, it's fucking wrong. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
it's wrong.
yeah.
It's immoral. It's unfair. It's unjust. There's nothing else to say, really. It's
and he's still like he's still literally like driving about Sheffield, walking about Sheffield, like as if nothing ever matters. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy to think that, but yeah. So like moving from that happened, that initial thing. So we move forward from then for like, I'm gonna have to say maybe 8 years or so. I'm guessing at that. So from my sisters being children to then coming of age where they want to know, they've got questions, they want to know why, they want to know the ins and outs or whatever. So it become that situation where I can only imagine you'd sit down with your kids and give them the birds and the bees talk, but this talk was from me to my younger sisters, telling them exactly what their dad did, not in too much graphic because they was only young adolescent, but telling them exactly what the dad did on what occasions and how it became what it became. For then to go through all of that for my mum's sister and partner, because they had all the court papers, because obviously in between what he did when he realised that when my mum had died, he instantly went to get care, foster, you know what I mean, guardianship, but obviously that it wasn't happening. So my family had to step in instantly and stop that, squash that. So that was that. So they had to go to court to stop him seeing him and whatever. Fair enough. So they'd got all the court papers. They'd got all the psychology reports on him and stuff. They got everything. So my sisters, or I don't know if, but my younger one read it, but certainly the middle one did. So she got an understanding of it. I sat down and explained everything to him. To then, for then her to go and have a relationship with him, like I was lying, like none of this was true, and he'd spun a web, and somehow made this. I don't know. I don't know what was said between them, obviously. But the only thing I know is fact that she then formed a relationship with her dad, right or wrong. I don't know, but the fact remains the same. The dad's a paedophile. The dad did what he did to me. I sat there, put my cards on the table, told you stuff that probably nobody ever knows and nobody needs to know. Stuff that your dad did to me. You then choose to go against my situation to then form a relationship with somebody who did that. And then, because I always see it like, if he wouldn't have done that, then my mum wouldn't have met who she met. Therefore, my mum wouldn't have been murdered, wouldn't be dead, should be here. Do you know what I mean? And that's all if buts and maybes, granted. But certainly that's the biggest fucking nail in the coffin. Do you know what I mean? For me. So then, so from that happening, I kind of lost a little bit of respect for my sister. Obviously, I still love my sisters. I love all my siblings dearly. But it didn't sit well. It didn't sit well at all. And then, it was never really right since then. And then I'd had issues with my mum's sister and stuff, because the same situation with them is not the same situation, but part of the situation, or part of the reason why I won't speak to him or can't speak to him or allow myself to speak to him, is because we was once in the pub, and we'd had an issue, we'd had an argument. I'd had an argument with my mum's sister, and then it was something like, "Oh, fuck off, idiot," whatever. And then my uncle then come out and said, "Oh, you're gonna have to leave because she's in here, she's going mad." I'm like, "Listen, I'm not going fucking nowhere. I've done nothing wrong." And then she'd gone round the pub asking people to go outside and beat me up, which is like, the pub's full of people that I used to knock about with and stuff. And I was like, "Are you mad? Like, it's Gary, what the fuck? Like, we're not going to do that." But unbeknown to her, somebody random could have listened to that, or go and beat him up. Oh, yeah, I'll fuck go outside. Do you know what I mean? So that could have led to anything. This day and age, I could have got stabbed, shot, fucking leathered or whatever. You don't know. But she went around the pub asking people to beat me up. Anyway, so that was like the final nail in the coffin for the relationship between me and my mum's sister, which is fair enough. It is what it is. I can't give a shit, to be fair. But then what was the hardest thing was having a toe-to-toe argument with my sisters, because they was then saying to me, "Don't talk to my mum like that." And I was like, "No, but that's not your mum." And they were like...
Because your aunt raised your sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, "But that's not your mum." And they were like, "Yeah, but it is." I'm like, "But it's not." So I'm arguing, and I'm just like saying facts like, "That's not your mum." "Yes, it is." I'm like, "No, it's not." And I was like, I couldn't say it enough times that I respect and appreciate the fact you're going to look at her like a mum, but that's not your mum. Do you know what I mean? And I just saw it like, I've got to defend my mum here. My mum's not here to defend herself. You're stood in front of me, your mum's son, telling me that that's not... You know what I mean? I couldn't work out, like, it was as if they were brainwashed. And I was like, it's not your fucking mum. Do you know what I mean? And I like trying to break it down as much as I could. I said, "Did she give birth to you?" "No, she didn't, so it's not your mum." "Is that your dad?" "No." "Right, is your dad a paedophile?" "Yeah." "Right, so that's not your mum and that's not your dad." Do you know what I mean? And it just wouldn't sink in. So for that, I had to take a step back. And then my eldest sister, she's younger than me, but my eldest sister, she took a step back a while before that anyway. And then obviously Riley, my nephew, he'd... shortly after he'd been diagnosed with brain cancer, so he had like it's a tumour called medulloblastoma, and it was on his brain stem, so he had to have emergency operation. I think he had like over 10 operations or something, or 10 radiotherapies and so many operations, and he'll be disabled to a certain degree for the rest of his life. So even still, like, my sisters don't speak to each other, and that's their sister's kid. Do you know what I mean? It's a proper dysfunctional bunch of shit.
Families and families are not easy, mate.
crazy.
I've got my own fair share of drama in amongst mine, but obviously nothing to that extent, man. Let's pause a moment to thank our headline sponsors, Zinza, and let's talk about their product, Zinza Bin. Zinza Bin is a shellac-based formula, and it sticks to any surface without the need for sanding. It dries in 15 minutes and can be recoated in 45. Zinza Bin blocks stains, knots, sap streaks and odours, including water stains, oil stains, mould, nicotine, pen and more. It really is a fantastic product. Let's get back to the episode. I'm outside the situation. I should have no opinion on it. It just sounds...
It's mental.
Really, like so much trauma, and trauma from very different perspectives from
and that's
everyone.
The thing as well, like, I didn't hold it against my sister for wanting a relationship with her dad, because ultimately that's her dad. That's fine. But don't use me to get to that stage. Don't use me or my life or the situation I was forced into because of your father as a fucking stepping stone. Do you know what I mean? Like, why, if you... Ultimately, she'd already made her mind up anyway. She wanted to see her dad. That's fine. Be honest with yourself. Why? Don't let me sit there telling you everything to then go and say, fuck, you're doing it anyway. Do you know what I mean? There was no... The conversation that I had with them was just meaningless then. It didn't mean anything because they'd already made their mind up. My younger sister, to a certain degree, she's very much like me. She loves differently. Do you know what I mean? She's one on her own. She's a special one. They're all special in their own way, but Lois is very... she's kind. Do you know what I mean? So it was one particular time, it was her birthday, and she's getting really upset about what her dad did to me and stuff. And I was like, look, we've moved on since then. I'm old enough and daft enough now. It's done. But she couldn't get over the fact because she was only young, she was drunk or whatever. And she was just constantly apologising for what her dad did. I was like, it's not you that's done it. It's not, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Mate, yeah, it's it must be. It must be a horrible thing from their perspective to know that their dad has done that to their brother and is essentially a predatory paedophile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that obviously that's one of the reasons why I don't speak to family anymore. And like I said, the family that I do speak to, obviously I appreciate them and value them and stuff. Could I be a better brother? Yeah, possibly. Could they be better sisters? Yeah, possibly. It depends on who's looking from which angle. We could all be more, couldn't we?
I think I had this conversation actually with my previous guest, Holly, and we were talking. We got into family dynamics because she'd got a thing with her dad, basically. Yeah. And I'd raise the subject to me, mate. Blood family's great, and it does mean a lot if it's the correct kind of relationship. But it's not an all goes pass. You know what I mean? It's
not by any means.
And I've got varying degrees of relationship with my family. But yeah, it's a tricky one. It really is, because there's this weird misconception in my mind that because somebody's family, you have to give them this open pass to come and walk all over you and do what they want. It's not.
And I think that's, again, I think that goes back to like you said earlier, the tribalism kind of thing. It's family. Yeah,
your tribe. Yeah.
So it's the same thing. You'll do everything you can to protect them, which I probably still would to a certain degree. Certain people, do you know what I mean? There's still, regardless to the issues, my sisters are still my sisters. They're still my baby sisters. I wouldn't, if you wanted them to phone me and said I need you, I'm not going to say no because you went and seen your dad. No, because you think she's your mother. Do you know what I mean? They're still my sisters. I'd still stand by them as much as I would allow myself to. But like I said, going back, I think as a person and as a brother I could do more. But the relationship that I've got with my sister, the eldest sister, has always been the same. She knows exactly where I am. She knows if she needs me, I'm there. Do you know what I mean? And to her kids, I am Uncle Nobbed. Do you know what I mean? I go in, I'll try and get kids to swear, and I'll just wind them up and that. But that's how I've always been, even with Riley now. even whenever I see him. I don't see him as often as I should, granted, but life takes over. It's not that I don't want to, it's just part of life's just life. I should make time and whatever, but then on the flip side of that, so should she. But even when I do see him, regardless of how long it's been, I'll still call him a little shit, or I'll still, do you know what I mean, wind him up and that, because that's just me as a person. That's how I am. So,
but it's tough, man. I mean, loads of people listening will resonate with it. You know, families they're very rarely straightforward, and there's a lot thrown in there, isn't there? There's guilt, there's entitlement, there's, you know, feeling that there's a certain, like you just said there, you should do more, but it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
In many occasions, and also, I think society has got a lot to blame these days. Like, we just haven't got, like, our spare time is very, very short now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I mean, me personally, man, like, I've got similar to you. You know, I've got a little sister, I've got a niece and nephew that I know for a fact I don't spend anywhere near enough time with. Like, like, really bad, to be honest. I should definitely. But again, you know,
you'll say to yourself, or I said to myself, right, I'm going to go down, or I'm going to say, I'll take him to pictures or whatever. And then it just never, and it's not that you don't want to.
Yeah,
it's just that before you know it, you've thought about it, you've said it to yourself, then it's been a fortnight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. And then it's just, it goes from there. So,
and then, mate, it's tough. I mean, yeah, from my perspective, and then, you know, there's like, I've got 2 kids, and if I'm honest, mate, I don't think I'd spend enough time with them either. So it's this filtering down of, like, I guess you're trying to prioritise everything and get on top of everything, and spinning so many plates, certain plates get dropped.
Yes, they do. Some plates deserve to be dropped, unfortunately. I think
that's the other thing, mate. You know, if there's rot in the tree, as it were, you need to get rid of it before it infects the rest of the tree.
Cut it off.
Cut it off, mate.
That won't happen to me. I'll cut it off.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, he was talking about his leg, wasn't he, or something?
Yeah, the boy that drowned.
That was it. Yeah.
Cut it off, nah. But so yeah, like, going back to the initial, the thing with my sister's dad, I think looking back now, or looking at it from an adult perspective now, I think I was grieving the loss of him also, because I didn't have a father figure growing up, and the only father figure I did was him. So throughout the most important years of my life, he knew what he was doing from the word get-go. So then my own father didn't really give a shit, or never really... I can't say that because that's probably blowing smoke up his arse. I just don't think he knows how to. Like, he's fully aware of who I am. I'm fully aware who he is. Who he is. And obviously I've had a relationship with him, or tried to form a relationship with him, but I just don't think he knows how to be a father. And whether that's something that's inbred in him, because I don't think he's a nasty person. I don't think he's an horrible person. I just think he's a useless shithouse as a father. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people, like my nephews and that, might love him, think he's funniest kid in the world, funniest bloke in the world. Which, yeah, he's pretty funny. I think he takes after me, because I'm pretty funny. If you've noticed. But, when all's said and done, I've never had him as a father figure. So even when the opportunity was there for him to form a relationship with me, he didn't know how to. So, like, the loss of Grace, my daughter, her not being mine or whatever, he was like, right, that's it. You're part of me now. No, blah blah blah. We're gonna stick together. Do you know what I mean? Which is fucking lovely to me. I mean, it shouldn't take the loss of your daughter paternity to get to that stage. But then nothing ever developed from that. Do you know what I mean? So I think he is what he is, and so I've never really had. Or how can I say it? Like, parental guidance. Even though I have had parental guidance, obviously I had my mum and the fucking paedophile up until being 16, 17. So my mum had taught me right from wrong. My mum taught me about my morals and how to treat people and how to be as a person, which I don't think personally, jokes aside, I don't think she's done a bad job. But that being said, in regards to an influential father figure, I've never had that. Do you know what I mean? Which is always give me the fuel up my arse. I think if and when I ever have children, I would not allow myself or allow my children to experience a fraction of what I'd experienced in regards to fathership and anything else.
Do you want kids, guys?
Do you know what? It's a tricky question.
I mean, you're getting on a bit now, aren't you?
This is Des O'Connor still bang him out at 70-odd-year-old though, so it's still life in the old dog yet. But you know, if you'd have asked me like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, I'd have been like, yeah. But you know, now I'm like, we're speaking to Keita yesterday about it, not about it, but we just like brought it up. Like, everybody you see with kids is stressed. Do you know what I mean? So,
mate, it's a scary world now.
Yeah, and would we be doing an injustice bringing a child into this relationship, not the relationship, but into this world, into our lives, kind of thing? Because we're both happy and content with what we are and what we've got. Yeah, it'd be nice if it happens. It happens. I'm not going to put a line under it, but it's not that straightforward for me and Nikita anyway. We've got to have IVF. We've had it twice, lost two. So it's a very traumatic and stressful, and it's not a pleasant experience to do. But we did say at some stage we'd look at doing it again, and this would be his last shot. And if it didn't work, then potentially look at adopting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether I do or I don't. It's a funny one.
It is, man. I mean, listen, I can give you perspective from a father. So I had my kids quite young. I had my son at 22. I hadn't got a fucking clue what I was doing. I thought it was the right thing at the time. Yeah, I'd got my own business, house and all that lot. So I was set up, but I thought I was mature. I wasn't. I thought I knew everything. I didn't. And listen, I love my kids to bits. I would do anything for them, and I would not change it for the world. But if you had transported me to me now, and I had no kids, that had never happened for me, and you asked me now, do you want kids? No, not in this world.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like, it's the reason I was speaking to her yesterday with Keita. She'd gone somewhere. She had I think a brows done or something, and the woman she was speaking to, she was like, if I'd known what I knew now or whatever, then no, I wouldn't. It's not that I don't love my kids or whatever, but I wouldn't put myself in that position.
It scares me, man, the world, the culture, the society that they're inheriting. You know, the grind, and I've seen it change so drastically for me in the last 20 years. And then I pass that on to Alfie and all the rest of it, and I'm like, oh, fucking hell, how hard's he going to have to work to really make something of himself or have a good quality of life? And the state of the country now, and highest tax rate, it's just...
Yeah, it's a very unpleasant place, isn't it? Which is another thing, obviously. It doesn't seem to be getting any better anytime soon. So just the added strain and stuff. Yeah, I'd love the opportunity to... I'd like to be a father. I'd like to... Do you know what I mean? I'd like to be a dad or whatever, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Do you know what I mean?
Stick to the dogs, mate.
Yeah, well, to be fair, dog, that little bastard broke my heart when... I mean, that is... You know that.
We've both been through that in the last 18 months, mate.
Yeah. And I'm not taking light away from anything I've experienced. They've all been like bad, but Jesus, the thing is with that situation with Stitch is the dog just wanted love. All he ever wanted, he was happy with love. That's all he ever wanted. But because I'd lost myself, or I wasn't me through it was 12. So let's say for the first. It's going to make me sound bad, but for a very, very long time, I didn't entertain the fact that he was what he was. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want dog hairs on my clothes. I didn't want... It was just a grate on my life, and I just feel so bad saying that, because when I dropped my guard, and when I found me again, and I become myself, and I allowed myself to love the dog or whatever, do you know what I mean? And let's say the last 5 years, 6 years, I've like started to build a relationship, certainly over the past 3 years. Like, fuck me, it was just worst thing I've ever done. And I've lost my mum, I've been raped, I've fucking lost kids, do you know what I mean? But literally, it's kneeling down on a vet's floor saying goodbye to me pug. I've never felt out like it. It was it's crazy saying it like that, but it was fucking dreadful, horrible. I've never experienced anything like it.
2 secs, man. We got somebody knocking the door.
Oh,
or carrying on, not for me. Sorry about that, folks. Interruption. Somebody trying to deliver a parcel is definitely not my parcel.
Probably an ambassadorship bundle or something. You'll have got somebody on.
Well, be, yeah. Be somebody wanting me to take a parcel in for someone else.
But yeah, like I said, like obviously I've got Enzo now, the beagle, the fucking idiot. But Stitch, like, but again, Stitch was my missus's baby, my missus's child. You know what I mean? That was her. That was her escapism. Do you know what I mean? Her and a dog and whatever. Before we got Enzo, it was so. He'd been through a relationship when we've been together 17 years on Wednesday.
Congratulations, man.
Obviously, it's all been plain sailing.
Oh, yeah, with somebody like you, mate. You're a lucky girl, Keita. You know that. I hope you realise just how lucky you are.
Plain sailing. But, like 12 years we'd had him. And, just fucking...
You know, I've been through that, mate. I mean, for anyone listening that might not be aware, but we've both... So I lost my girl last year. Funnily enough, around about a year ago, actually. It was like last July. And Gary obviously went through the same loss a few months back. And yeah, man, it's absolutely... Mate, I'm still heartbroken about it. And obviously, we've gone and got Maverick now, who's a pain in the arse. But yeah, it's terrible. It really is. I went with my girl. She so I had her. She was with me through all of my dark times. So when I went through the relationship breakdown, and there were times where it was literally just me and her, like me and her in an empty house, fucking no furniture.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. She was the thing that got me out the house. So, she was 100% mine. And then obviously I met Ange, and then Ange fell in love with her as well. And she was our dog at the end. Like, I wouldn't take anything away from Ange. She was both of our dog by the end. But yeah, she came with me, and then Ange knew her for probably about 8 years, I guess. So it's quite some time.
And that's the thing with obviously Stitch, because obviously when I'd stopped drinking and smoking and going out being an absolute knob and finding myself, he was part of that journey. So it's like, he'd seen me at my worst, at my fucking pit's end, and, do you know what I mean, destroyed, and then we moved away and then done all this, and we brought Enzo to his life and whatever. So it sounds a bit corny, but I'm not particularly bothered. He'd seen me at my very, very worst. I mean, I've never nasty to him, you know what I mean? He was still my dog. I still fed him and took him out or whatever, but I just didn't entertain any kind of compassion with him or whatever. Like, I don't, like, straight... Enzo will come and lay on me or whatever, as before I'd be like, shift, you little bastard. You know what I mean? Because I was going out. I didn't want dog hairs on my trousers and stuff. So he'd seen the journey of me, the evolution of Gas. So yeah, quite fucked.
I think, do you know what it is? Like, I found this, there's only a few times in my life I've experienced, but with dogs, the right dog, you get unconditional love. That's what it is. There's no conditions to it. It's just there. And they don't care whether you're in a good mood, bad mood, what you've done. You could have gone out and robbed a bank.
Yeah, they're not bothered.
They don't give a shit. They just love you.
Yeah,
you're theirs, they're yours. And it's that unconditional love, mate. It's this beautiful thing, and it's a fucking... the worst thing in the world to lose. I've experienced it a few times in my life. Dog and grandparents, I think, really. Because... And, like, don't get me wrong, the people there going, oh, what about your missus? There's conditions to that love.
Yeah.
There is. And rightly so. You know what I mean? Because I could go out and behave in certain ways that would end that. Do you know what I mean? And rightly so.
Yeah.
But what I mean by unconditional love is exactly that. Like, nothing you could do would stop it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what you get with a dog. They'd be by your side while you were there, like, murdering a school of orphans, if you know what I mean. And that's the fucking heartbreaking thing to go through, man. It's a rough one, and anyone here that's got or had a dog will know that pain. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just it. It's just different. It's a different kind of loss. Like we said earlier, didn't we? Well, it might be pre-record, but on about like grief or grieving or whatever. It's not just grieving. Doesn't mean the death of something. It's the loss of something, the end of something. Do you know what I mean? Some people, when they retire, they grieve because they're not working, and so it's just the loss. And going back to what I said earlier about how I feel as an individual and things are going too good, like, it's a loss is a loss. So every loss is, now I see it, that there's no, the magnitude of any loss is the same. Do you know what I mean? If it's some kind of a relationship with a person or something of substance or something of stature, it's traumatic for me. It just seems to resonate and refuel the shit previously. But then it kind of relights another fire for me to carry on, and do you know what I mean, to put my cape on again and do it all over again. But then it gets to a stage like where, when does the cape get hung up? When do I have to stop? When do I get to think, I think that's done? Do you know what I mean? What's next? And I don't know.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I'd love to know the answer myself, mate. I mean, like I said, from the outside in, it looks like you're making progress, man.
Yeah. Certainly, like the road to now, from where I've been, I don't know, past 5 years, 10 years, whatever. It's got really, really dark before it's got really, really light. So, I'm just grateful for the people that I've got around me and the people that appreciate me, because then it makes me appreciate myself.
You have physically and what's the word I'm looking for? Physically and theoretically climbed from darkness, mate.
Well, I did that with some amazing people, and I don't think I would have done it without amazing people, in both counts, climbing up Snowdon and in reality. Which, that being said, what's next? What are you doing next?
I had a phone call yesterday, mate, I can't say.
Brilliant.
I'll tell you off cam.
Okay.
What I will say is there is going to be a next, and it's going to be big, and it's something that everyone can get involved in. I'll tell you in a bit. There's plans. Yeah, mate. I mean, let's talk about that briefly. Like the climb from darkness that we did a few months ago. How fucking epic was that?
It was awesome. I mean, it was different, and I think there was some relationships formed or deepened up that mountainside.
So you're quite a fit bloke anyway, aren't you? Like going hiking and rambling, and that is.
Got eyes.
I mean,
you can see me probably.
Exactly. It's nothing drastic. So the physical challenge of it was not, I guess,
fucking dreadful. No. Do you know? To be fair, there was parts of it. Like, putting it like in reality terms or in realistic terms. So like at night, you've got everybody around you. You've got the camaraderie. Yes, it was difficult. Everybody says it wasn't. It's full of shit. Right? It was difficult, but manageable. So it was just like walking up a very, very steep hill. But because you were talking, or you might have had moments of silence because you couldn't fucking breathe, or certain people couldn't breathe. But it was
me being one of them. By the way,
it didn't feel as strenuous. Plus, I had a bag full of Kendall mint cake, which helped a lot of people.
Yeah, your special.
I could have brought some. See, that's another brand opportunity missed.
It is, yeah.
Fuck. But anyway, so the actual doing it was awesome, and was it difficult? No, but I think the company made it less difficult. I think if you were to do it with different people or like people that were I don't know. I think the mix of people that was there was perfect. Obviously, it'd be nice for everybody and anybody to be involved, because then the camaraderie would have been a little bit better, a little bit more special. But I think when I
had to say no to so many people. I wish I could have said yes to everyone, but at the same time, I think if we'd have had 100, there wouldn't have been the connections made that there were.
And that's, I think, it's finding that balance.
We did do it as a group,
and
we all stuck together, and we separated a little bit. We kind of went into like 3 groups.
I think
going
what was
up,
bad is when we obviously was up there for the climb from darkness, so we've seen the sunrise and stuff, but then walking back down and having the realisation that fucking hell, we've just climbed this. Going down would attempt to be worse, because you're seeing it at night time. You couldn't see. You've got your head torches on it, but you couldn't see from here to the wall.
It's a weird thing, that, mate, isn't it?
Because some parts of it was naughty.
Yeah, 2 particular parts.
Do you know what I mean? And you think.
I had that realisation, man, coming down, and it was a little moment to myself where I thought, isn't it funny how, like, because we did it in the dark, and you got headlamps, but they don't go very far, and if you looked ahead of you, it was pretty much just black. You couldn't see the magnitude of what you were doing, so it was literally just like, and I remember there was a part called the Steps, weren't there, where it was all rock steps.
Yeah.
And I remember like out loud walking up and going, one more rock, one more rock, one more step, 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 till I got to the top. But literally, mate, it's on the t-shirt. One step at a time. I remember doing that, like one more, just one more, and getting up there, but then coming back down and getting to the bottom of them, and then turning around and looking up and going, shit. Like, I'm glad I couldn't see that last night.
Yeah.
Because if I'd have had that last night and seen it and been like, what, I've got to go up there.
Yeah.
Like, and isn't that weird how, like, doing it one step at a time, and there's something to be said for this. If you've got a big goal or a big dream that you want to reach, just don't forget looking at the top, because it can seem really fucking daunting if you look and you're like, Jesus Christ, I've got to get up there to reach my goal. If you can just do the first bit, so what's the first step of that goal? What's that? Okay, you've done that. What's the next step?
Yeah.
And do that repeatedly until you get there.
Small, manageable, achievable goals.
Exactly that. But there's a lot to be said, and that was like a real visual representation of that truth. Yeah. Because there was that moment, like you said, coming back down, turning around and going, fuck me, I'm glad I couldn't see that.
Yeah, it was mentally, like, it was different. It's like we'd come down a different mountainside. It was because, and I don't know about you, but it felt like hours to get to the top, because it did take hours, didn't it? Let's have it right. But it felt like it took about 20 minutes to come down. Do you know what I mean? But then even like the guide said, when we got to after the proper naughty part of the corner, like the last corner bit, and the guide went, "It's just a." Was that what? And we thought, like, we've got ages yet, and it was like,
I'll be honest with you, mate.
I think we got to have smashed the time.
I think we went up a bit too fast.
100%.
Because again, I put my faith in that the guides were great. They got us all up there. So for two things, they got us all up there.
They couldn't believe how quick we got up there.
Well, they got us all up, so credit to them. They got us all up safe, and they got us all back down safe. So massive credit to them. But I do think, being the guides, they could have gone, do you know what, we're ahead of schedule, we can slow it down here. Or just slow the pace down a little or something, I don't know. Because we did, for anyone listening who's wondering what the fuck is he talking about, sunrise was 5:20. We were meant to be up there for 5 a.m. and I think we were up there by 4.
Yeah, we was up there for a while.
But again, man, how lucky. It was dry, which Wales is rarely dry. It was dry. It wasn't particularly windy. And it was clear as a crystal clear.
And he said it's 19% of people in
it was basically like 1 in 5 ascents get this. And we managed to get it, and we sat there, and we sat at the top of a mountain, and some of the lads had got jet boils. So we sat up there with a cup of tea, some mint cake, whatever that cake Lewis brought, the green Chinese cake.
It's not, to be fair, I've had it a few times. That, to be fair,
no idea what it's called. But sat up there with that, watching that sunrise, man, that was a bucket list moment for me.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing as well, them kind of memories, and the moments that you shared with them people, they'll live forever. Do you know what I mean? It was, but again, it's if I didn't put myself out there on social media, and if I didn't get involved in what I got involved in and stuff like that, then that opportunity wouldn't have arose. So, to anybody watching who's scared to make that jump, or anybody that's thinking, I don't feel comfortable doing this, like Russell just said, it starts with one step at a time. 1,000 miles starts with one step. So it's not a race, and there's, like I've said a million times before, there's enough cake for everybody to have a slice. So just be truthful, be yourself, and put yourself out there, and hopefully good things come your way.
It's a great community as well. Like, the one thing I want to point out to anyone that might be listening and think, I've got a story I'd like to tell, but I'm not sure. Nobody's ever had any bad feedback. We're talking over 90 guests, and it's always been positive.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get ridiculed until today. But it has always been a positive outcome for people, and I'd like to think, that there's been connections made as well through this platform that's been beautiful for me to see.
Yeah,
externally.
Like I said, these friends I've got now, that will certainly last a lifetime. And like I said, when all said and done, all dramas and issues with people aside, I don't think anybody within social media, or within the paint community, or within the construction community nowadays, I don't think anybody specifically wants to go out and hurt people. I think they all underline have got the same end game. They want to be there for mental health. They want to promote mental health. They just want to be a part of a community. And I don't know, to some degree align with each other, because ultimately we're all doing the same thing. He's painting a wall, I'm painting a wall. She's putting a picture up,
it's very important, mate. It really is, because I've said a few times now, nobody's coming to save us.
No.
So, but what we can do is save each other and save ourselves. And by creating community spaces, destigmatizing mental health, allowing people to be able to go, do you know what? I'm struggling today. I'm struggling this week. And like you said, you know, you put stuff out there and you were surprised by the outpouring of support.
Yeah,
But how important's that?
Yeah, crazy.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, as much in regards to that shit, it's nothing. Like, it's irrelevant. It doesn't make no difference to anything when you've been through the magnitude of what I've been through. To some people, it could be life changing. To me, it could have been life changing if I didn't handle it correctly. But people, the community out there is always willing to support no matter what. Do you know what I mean? There's people on my profile, like on my socials, that struggle. They'll put it out there. They get help instantly. If you're willing to put yourself out there in a position to ask for help, then you're going to receive help. Somebody's always going to help you. And sometimes it takes a little bit more pride than you think you've got to swallow a bit of pride to ask for help. But as soon as you do, you'll think, why didn't I do that before? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, don't be afraid to talk. So, let's talk.
Let's talk. Right above the man's head there.
Right above the man's
even
head.
in the close-up shot,
like,
we've got it. Not that wasn't deliberate.
Yeah.
all
It's because I'm
man.
short, so usually your head's here and you can't see.
Yeah, I was going to say, normally the person fills the screen. But, you know, anyway. Could have just zoomed in a bit more for you guys, couldn't I, really? But I thought I wanted to get Let's Talk in the shot.
But, yeah, like, ultimately, it is an amazing community, and I think everybody's got the same end game, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think so.
To earn money and pay bills.
At the end of the day, man, that's what we're all trying to do, and I think that's an important message. Like, everyone that's doing stuff on social media or at work or whatever, like, we're all doing it for that. We're trying to pay bills. Most of us have got families we're supporting or loved ones we're supporting, so it's just creating that supportive atmosphere rather than being divisive, which I was talking about earlier. But we're all in it for the same thing. And, like, I've got to respect your hustle for that. Like, you're trying to support yourself, your loved ones, and massive respect to you. Any man, woman, child that is doing that, you know, I think, to me, that's the definition of masculinity these days, is like somebody that is out there trying to support and provide for the people they love. What's more of being a man than that? And that's the same, like, that's not taken away from the women that are doing it. You know, massive respect to everybody in that position that's doing that. It's a noble thing to do, isn't it? So
Yeah.
the purpose.
It's not easy at times, but we all seem to do it, don't we? We all seem to get through it to some degree.
I think it gets forgotten sometimes that we're all doing the same thing, really. But one of the questions that got asked on the Q&A, mate, which I want to bring into the podcast, was, what's the best thing that has happened to you over the last 18 months?
I'd say the support and acknowledgement from brands, I think, because every brand I'm associated with, obviously multi-million-pound companies, have had faith in me to represent them, giving me an opportunity. And obviously nothing I do for them is paid to a certain, like products and stuff like that. It's not paid, but I think just each and every one of them giving me the opportunity and the belief that if you're going to represent us by being yourself, I don't know, kind of some self-actualisation that actually I have come a long way, because would they have done that before, or would they have done that when I first started my journey? Probably not. So just, the sense of professionalism from me, I think, but brands have enabled me to see.
Cool, man. I've got to do the reverse. What's been the low point of the last 18 months?
I would say probably the recent playground antics. I would say the questioning of my integrity, the assumptions that the belief of something else, or the assumptions that, they're just a what's the word I'm looking for? Defamation of character. I think that's been certainly the most prominent low point is how people have attempted to paint me in a bad light, or question my integrity, question my advocacy towards mental health and what I'm doing for me and my business and my family and whatever. That's a low point, because I think people are on my socials, and everybody that knows me, I'm just me. I haven't done anything to hurt anybody, and I haven't done anything to belittle anybody or demoralise anybody or attempt to demoralise anybody or take things away from anybody. I've just done something that I believe in, that I believe is morally right. So to be penalised, or to be attempted to be penalised for that sole reason, when it's got nothing to do with anybody else apart from me, that was difficult. That was a bitter pill to swallow. And then the aftermath as well. The people that didn't ask for my truth, for the truth, just made the assumption that it was all cut and dry. So yeah, that was difficult. But we move forward.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, forward is the way. I mean, hopefully, you put that period behind you.
Yeah, well, it's done from my perspective. I've got nothing else to say. I've got nothing else to do. I didn't have anything to say in the first place, but it's done with now. We move forward and look forward to what the future holds like.
I've got a great idea for moving forward, mate. Just write a fucking book.
It's got me.
There's a shelf over there, a bookshelf, and on that shelf I have 1, 2, 3 published authors, signed copies of books from former guests.
It's coming.
Yeah, a certain guest sat here 18 months ago and said, I'm going to write a book.
I actually said, I do want to, but I need a ghostwriter, so I will reiterate them words. If anybody knows a ghostwriter...
I'm pretty sure I've put you in touch with a man who knows somebody. Didn't you speak to Andy?
Yeah, I did speak to him. No,
so stop with the fucking excuses.
No, but I didn't know. But then he kind of just said, listen, do it yourself, but then get an editor to do like the bits and read it and stuff like that. But yeah, I just need to do it. Stop being a dick.
Yep. I mean, in fairness, mate, I can understand how it will actually be quite a painful process.
You know, it's not even that.
But
it's not even that. I couldn't. No. It's not. It's probably going to be one of the easiest things. It's probably like this. Probably going to be the easiest thing I've probably ever done, because I'm literally just talking to myself, which I do.
Mate, write the book. Make sure you do an audio version with yourself reading it. I know somebody with a studio you can use. But I was talking to Andy though when he did his, because I listened to his audio.
Yeah,
and I was so grateful it was him that had said it.
I think it'd have to be me anyway, because things would be again took out of context if it was somebody else to say certain things and it not be my demeanour or my character. I think it could be quite portrayed in it.
I always think, mate, I've read a few like biography type books and I hate it when it's not the person.
Yeah,
because it's nice to hear, but you've got to do it, man. Please do it. You know what I mean? Everybody that's listening, drop Gary a message on his socials, Quality Brushstrokes. I think every 6 weeks we should all be messaging him. Write the book. It'll happen.
One's like, who asked the question earlier, Rob, are you going to start having a day off? When I have a day off, or when I get to when the house is finished, then I can have a day off.
Oh, here we go. Look, when
I'm going to get my office sorted, and then I'm going to switch off, and then pen to paper or voice to freaking dictaphone. I
was just, mate, you can just dictate it now, and then there's enough apps out there that will then translate your dictation into text.
Or just dictate into the Bible.
Could do. Yeah.
But it goes back to the same thing. Is it like, who's going to play me?
Well, you've gone straight to movie, mate. Let's just get the book out.
Yeah,
Let's get the book, and then we can go to movie afterwards, can't we?
We're like a Quentin Tarantino film. Tarantino.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but mate, it's I'm not even joking. You could see it as like, like these BBC dramas and stuff like that, like these mini-series. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing.
With what's gone on, mate, there's too much for a film. It's like you need a series.
And this is the thing as well. Like, there's so much that can't be said, and but it could be written in a way that's still the truth, but saying it's differently because sometimes snippets jump in, don't they? So I think there's so much that can't be said, and there's so much that needs to be said. And
well, I for one, mate, after hearing your story, think it's very fucking worthy of you writing a book. So let's move forwards with writing a book.
Yes, we shall.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover, mate, coming down here today?
Not really. I mean, we could talk for hours, couldn't we? When all said and done, but no, without taking light away from the first episode, and obviously I know I've just drip fed a little bit more on in regards to the sexual abuse and stuff. There's not really much else surrounding the murder side of things. My daughter side of things that can be, I suppose, discussed a bit, but I think it's been opening another can of worms. We could be sat here for hours, and I think it'd lose the magnitude of what this specific.
There's been a lot, man. There's been a lot of hard hitting stuff in this already. I guess it's nice to give you that opportunity. I guess that you came in, you offloaded what you offloaded when you did, but to then go away and have that reflection period, and then be able to come back and go, just to add a bit more context to that.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. I think so. Certainly for me, I think the route the podcast took this time, I think it was necessary. I think there was probably things that I missed out last time that I probably did say this time, and likewise probably some that I said in the first one that I didn't really say this time. But I think as a whole and as an individual, I think I kind of said all I needed to say, and I think I said it in a way that was respectable and professional. I think that's what I wanted more than anything, because obviously this was arranged well before any shit.
Yeah, months before. I think you were booked in about 3 months ago.
Yeah, so well before any
my Saturdays get chewed up pretty quick.
Yeah, so this was booked prior to any dilemmas, but yeah, I think we've dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and like I said, if anybody has got any questions or any issues, or it resonates with anybody, by all means either drop me a message or Russ a message.
If you are listening and you haven't checked out that first episode, please do. Again, just for anyone that doesn't know you, Gary, where can they find you?
Instagram, quality brushstrokes, quality _ brushstrokes, and on TikTok, g.q at quality brushstrokes. So yeah, I'm just me on there. If you've never added me before, if you've never seen any of my work, I'm just me. So what you see here is what you see out there in the real world, let's say. And I want to appreciate every one of you for taking the time to listen to this one and the first one. So yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, a big thank you to the Funky Peach for the guest merchandise, which I will bestow upon Gary. Because Gary, I think, had like the very first range of guest merch, which was a long, long time. Did I even have any?
Yeah, I think so. It was the very, very shiny.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, the chrome. I've actually still got that.
Wow, that would be worth a fortune in years to come.
That's what it's framed up, to be fair. It's up at above bed.
Yeah.
Framed,
So, yeah, big thank you to the Funky Peach. If any of you guys are looking for any workwear, printed, personalised stuff, go and check those guys out. So thank you to those guys. The usual stuff, please like, share, follow, subscribe. Funnily enough, my subscribers on platforms such as YouTube do not match the amount of viewers. So if you're viewing and you haven't subscribed, please do. It only takes a couple of minutes. Doesn't cost you anything. I know the word subscription on YouTube is a little bit like, oh, am I signing up? It's not. It's just like essentially liking the platform, and then it will notify you when I publish something new. But it does make a difference because it plays around with the algorithm. It puts the content in front of more people. The bigger the platform grows, the more guests that I can get in. and the more reach that these episodes will have to reach the kind of people that might need to hear the messages contained within. So to ask of you guys that little favour to just take a moment to do that. If you've got a few more moments, you're feeling exceptionally sort of generous with your time, please leave a review on whatever platforms it might be, whether that's Spotify or Apple or even Google, like wherever. If you can just take a moment to leave an honest review, I'm not asking you to write anything that you don't, but just make sure it's good. Then that would be massively appreciated as well, because again, it all helps with the growth of this platform. And if you're still listening at this point, thank you very much for staying with us, and I'll catch you soon on the next one. Any final words from you guys?
No, just thanks again, and obviously to all the brands that I do work with, thank you very much. I appreciate every one of you, and looking forward to the journey ahead with all of you and many more.
Peace out.